Terence Crawford kind of admits that he's not going to knock out Canelo Alvarez. He knows, in his opinion, that already going up in weight classes, this fight's going to be a difficult fight for him. He's not planning to really hurt Canelo Alvarez, maybe really get his punches off and ultimately beat him up in a way that's more boxing related in terms of, you know, landing clean shots, being precise, and being the first puncher and the last puncher. And I feel like that's where Crawford can dominate Canelo, but he knows he's not really gonna like put him down or anything like that. I just don't see that. I don't see Crawford as strong as he is, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand how strong Terence Crawford is. He knows how to wrestle, he's physically strong, and he has punching power as well. So we got to take that into account. You know, I know we're all talking about the weight. Everybody is talking about how the weight is a disadvantage because ultimately Crawford is moving up, and not only one weight class, but ultimately 2 weight classes, because, you know, he started at 47 if you think about it. He had one singular fight at 54 and didn't even look that good. So you're going from there, he's basically jumping from 47 to 68 after one fight. Like, that's crazy, you know, with having only one fight at 154 in between. And I feel like he knows that ultimately, you know, he's going to be the faster fighter, because everybody's talking about how him moving up in weight is a disadvantage for Crawford. But what if I told you that's not a disadvantage? That might be his advantage. That might be the reason he beats Terence Crawford, is because he's the lighter fighter, because he's a little bit faster. You know, people always talk about power, power, power. The strongest guy doesn't always win the boxing match. The biggest guy doesn't always win the boxing match. If all else is equal, then that comes into play. But I have a theory that Terence Crawford is the more talented fighter. I have a belief that Terence Crawford is the higher IQ fighter, and you know, I feel like he has more tools in the bag, and he's gonna expose a flaw that Canelo has always had, which is dealing with people who know how to move, dealing with people who are faster than him, dealing with people who are gonna force him to think, dealing with people who are gonna test his gas tank. That's the biggest thing for me. I feel like with Canelo Alvarez, he's had a lot of opportunities to stop fighters, but he hasn't done it because his gas tank hasn't allowed him to, or he's not too confident in that cardio. He's not too confident in that conditioning, because he's not a super cut up 168 pounder, if we're being real. He's a stocky 68 pounder. At 75, he's the slowest. So at 68, at least he has a little bit more speed, but I still don't think he's going to be on that speedy level as Terence Crawford. And I think that's why, you know, Bud is being realistic. He's not saying I'm going to knock him out. He's saying I don't have to knock him out. I just got to beat him, right? So put him in front of me. I've been fighting taller guys my entire life. This guy's no different. As good as Canelo is, I still think I can beat him. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not mad at that, because like I just said, the weight is seen as a disadvantage to everybody else. The public's all saying, you know, you're too small. Moving up in weight is crazy. But he's not only is he daring to be great, that's the part that's just like about respect, but also think about the science of smaller boxers being faster fighters. Crawford would have to get knocked out by Canelo. Otherwise, I think Crawford would have too much energy, too much bounce, and too much flow to lose to Canelo. I don't think Canelo would be able to keep up with a guy like Crawford for 12 rounds unless he really hurts him. That's what Canelo has to bank on, really hurting Crawford, because I don't think he's going to outbox Crawford. He's going to be too slow. I'm telling you guys, all of you guys saying that it's a disadvantage for Crawford to be the lighter fighter and it's a significant disadvantage, I'm telling you, that's what might win him the fight. The fact that he is the smaller fighter, the fact that he is able to move so much because he is smaller, he's able to move his feet faster, because Canelo's not the quickest when it comes to lateral movement and creating these angles, but Crawford's quick. You know, he's very reactive, he has quick reflexes, and you know, Canelo's strong. He has the ability to cut off the ring very well and land big shots. But if he's not able to do that, there's a good chance that Crawford could win a decision. And then that really looks bad, because then Canelo accepted a fight where he was saying, oh, this guy's too small. As much as, you know, I respect Crawford as a fighter, he's too little, and I wouldn't get credit for beating a guy like that because that's easy work. You know, that would look really bad if he ends up losing to Crawford in a decision, right? You know, shout out to all the Canelo fanboys, but, you know, keep it 100. If Canelo goes in there and it is a little bit sloppy and Crawford tests that gas tank, we might see an upset. We might see a Crawford win over the pound for pound cash cow of the sport. And that would be crazy and a great accomplishment for Terence Crawford, because that's his version of fighting Pacquiao. That's his version of fighting Floyd. That's what solidifies him as a legend in the sport of boxing. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, but those are just my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next Nabs Boxing video. Peace.